right, Bitcoin accumulation country. My name is Phil. This is the Fun with Bitcoin podcast. This is season 3, episode 4. This is the first LightningNode Roundtable of 2020, and we've got some really interesting topics to cover. Joining us, we're going to have Google from the Lightning Labs team. We're going to have Rick from CryptoCloaks, who makes all those amazing Lightning shells and the invoice terminals and all kinds of awesome 3D printed stuff that we have come to love in Bitcoin. We've got Suheb from the Ride the Lightning project with some updates. And we also have BTC Socialist, who does a lot of the microcontroller fun stuff. You may know him from the original, essentially the original code of the quickening and also the Lightning invoice terminal. So, anyways, it's a really great episode, and we are going to be talking about the Macaroon bakery, which is pretty interesting. I didn't really understand what that was about until Oliver explained it a little bit more, and we're going to dive into just to some overall updates and some question and answer. So, without further ado, here is the first LightningNode Roundtable of 2020. And actually, I am going to apologize in advance. At the beginning of our cast, my dogs started going crazy, and I thought that I had been muting it, but apparently I wasn't. But don't worry, it doesn't persist. All right, guys, have fun. Thank you very much for joining me for another Fun with Bitcoin podcast. And this is the LightningNode Roundtable number 6. But it's also the first LightningNode Roundtable of 2020. And, we've got some cool stuff developing. And we've got BTC Socialist, Ben.
Hello.
We've got CryptoCloaks, Rick.
Hello.
We've got Oliver.
Hi.
And we've got Suheb from Ride the Lightning.
Hey, guys.
And Oliver actually works at Lightning Labs. I didn't mention that, but so that's where Oliver's from. So anyways, guys, we haven't spoken since before Christmas, and it's very cool to have you all back on. So I hope everybody had, good holidays, and I saw there's been a lot of building. We've got the invoice terminal that we saw from Rick, so he's going to talk to us about that. Oliver is going to talk to us about being a maître pâtissier, right, and talk about some bakeries. And Suheb, I think, has got something cool going on with the Ride the Lightning update. I saw some updates from you. And Ben, we haven't spoken in 2 months, so I'm going to start with you and see what's going on, man.
Yeah, just been there's a few conferences coming up, so just been getting ready for those. As well as that, I've am I showing on your screen right now? You are, okay, because it doesn't look like that on mine. So as well as that, I've been working on Lnbits, which is kind of my little solution for I've a lot of my point of sale terminals and the ATM and all those things. When I connect them to a funding source, I don't want them to have access to all of my funds or my keys or whatever. So I've just Lnbits is just a way of a layer which sits on top of it, and you can make lots of little wallets, and each one of those has got their own independent API keys. So I was going to do a little screen share actually. So it may take me a second to do. Oh, there we are. Let's see if that works. Well, can you see that? Can everyone see that screen share?
Yeah, we can see that. That's very cool.
Right, so this is kind of the wallet and how it looks. And then, as I said, every wallet's got its own API keys. It's really easy to do a new wallet. Just set up a new one, and then there we go. And I've got a new, and that's got its own API keys as well. And you can generate invoices. Oh, and a bit of menu issues with the little menu there. You can generate invoices pretty easily. And you can send funds and stuff, and all the things you can do on Lightning now. So that's quite cool because it means I can have a separate wallet for my point of sale terminal. I can have a separate wallet for my ATM. But this extensions thing, so I wanted to kind of extend the functionality of it. Now I've got a basic wallet. So and as you know, I like faucets. So I've been building some extensions, and the idea is that will make it easy for other people to build extensions into it as well. So say if you had Lnbits running on top of LND and you wanted to make like faucets, you can like activate this extension, and then you get a new menu item here. If we go to this menu item, and then say we call it something, so I'll call it a faucet. I'm actually moving away from the word faucet. If you look, it's called withdraw link maker and make a link and all this stuff, because LNURL withdraw is so much more than just making faucets. But in this particular case, I'm in fact going to be making a faucet. So I pick a wallet. So I pick that one. It's got 50 sats on. I'll say maximum withdraw is 20 sats. The min withdraw of this LNURL is, I don't know, let's say 5 sats. Amount of users, I'll let there be 4 users, and there'll be 45 seconds between each use. Now, with the other faucet thing I made, the Sinclair faucet, if anyone's seen that on Twitter or whatever, it was cool, it was fun, but very quickly people made faucet milking bits of software. So if I click this little button, it will generate like a unique QR for each LNURL withdraw. And then I click create link, and then it generates the link. So now I've got the link here. And then, that'll just that table will list all the different, all your different LNURL withdraw links. But I can do like a quick select thing here, and then there's my LNURL withdraw. So if you scan that with like Wallet Satoshi or Blue Wallet or something, you'll be able to take out the 20 sats every 45 seconds. What I've also got here is I've got a shareable link. So if I click on that, here's a link you can give out to people, and it's just like a unique shareable link. But as well as that, because I thought we're our own bank, aren't we? So we should be able to print our own money. So if you click on print all withdraws, there we are. It makes like this nice little printout here. So you can print these out, and you can cut these Zimbabwe bills out, and they've got the little LNURL withdraw links on them. And you can give them out to people at conferences or a meetup or something. So that's pretty fun. So that's kind of like one extension, which I'm really excited about. But I'm also going to be building lots of other little extensions, and it means that, because this is just like, if when you download it onto your LND or whatever, or your Blitz, it's like 5 lines of Python or something to get the thing running, and then it just then adds all this functionality to your node. But you could also have it running like I think I've got a sort of online version which isn't as up to date as this, hasn't got the extension things built in yet, but that's on lnbits.com. And I'm actually using OpenNode to be the funding source behind that. So I think that's quite funny, because you've got like KYC, AML5 type stuff. But then, who is the custodian? So, I mean, it's very easy to kind of switch funding sources. So I could technically have like, Lnbits could have Lnbits as a funding source. You could have like multiple funding sources on top of each other. And it's like, who's actually the custodian of the funds? I've also had it running off LNT Export, and I've had it running off LMPay as well. Which is fantastic, and I think that's it. I need to get it sorted for C Lightning too. So that's what I've been fanning about with for the past week. It's pretty cool.
So are we going to be able to post a link for people to in the show notes for people to be able to check out?
Yeah, I mean, so hopefully by the end of this weekend, I will have like a couple of the extensions running on lnbits.com. Which is like so the idea is that as well, like anybody can run this, and then they can be like an open node, or they can be a custodian for other people. Even if it's just their immediate friends and family, or you could just use it for like management of your own funds, like by splitting your funds into wallets. So anyway, so if you go on lnbits.com, that's like my version of that. But if you go to arcbtc/lnbits on GitHub, then all the code's there. It's free and open source. You can download, you can run it yourself, and then you can just have your own version of Lnbits. And it's pretty easy to get running locally. And then you can do like an SSH tunnel out to the world, which is in fact what I'm doing right now on the one which is there. So yes, lnbits.com. So really excited about that. Also, like insanely excited over all the amazing work which has been done on the quickening point of sale terminal and the box which CryptoCloaks has been working on. Getting like a steady stream of messages on Twitter of people showing me these boxes they're printing out. It seems to be really taking off. So I can't wait to print a bunch of those out. I'm going to take them to Advancing Bitcoin and then use them in a workshop there. So it's going to be great.
That's actually a really great segue and into chatting with Rick, right? Because he's got all kinds of stuff going on, man. So look, so BTC cool. Socialist, thank you so much. I really look forward to trying out the Lnbits. I love, man. I've done so many of your projects. I think it's awesome. You're like one of my favorite people in Bitcoin, and seriously, like your projects have made me confident to
Yeah, I need to do. I need,
to
well, I
actually
mean, like,
try
honestly, like,
things.
yeah, but you're because we've like chatted privately and stuff, and you've got some of these things running, and you built some things epic, like the Sweet Machine, and that's kind of like an amalgamation of projects and your own stuff in there as well. So it's just cool to see, like, when you make something, and obviously in free and open source, other people then taking that thing you've made and like improving it, making it better, and making spin-off projects and stuff. It's great. That's the best part about it. So no, I'm equally very excited to see what comes out of some of the stuff which is put out there. I put out, other people put out there. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much, Rick. Man, how you doing?
Good. I want to know more. Can I print off those paper bills with 20 sats on it at the moment right now?
Yeah.
I don't want to give them away. Seriously.
They're sick.
You'll have to wait a couple of days for it to be on the lnbits.com, but then it'll also be on the Lnbits GitHub. The code will also be a bit messy. We're going to tidy that up then next week. We're going to audit through it and just make it. So that whole project needs to be the point where, like, someone who can write, fairly rudimentary Python can go in there and they can make a plugin, and then use that plugin in the system. And then if that plugin's like, kind of accepted by the wider community, we could then put it on the GitHub with the rest of the plugins too.
All I know is that is awesome, and I want to give some away.
Yeah, they're great.
We can jump right into the quickening box. I guess I get way too much credit for this. The programming and software, Ben, 100%. And then Crypto Novo, we'll put it in the show notes, has pretty much designed a lot of it. And then we've just been helping print off every single prototype because we have so many printers that we can print off prototypes and give suggestions on how those things print, how easy it is, if we need to add supports or change the design in certain ways for the screen to fit. So we have had a small part in it, but Crypto Novo has went crazy on it, and he's designed something really sweet. I know we have a version 2 in the works that he's finalizing right now. I'm going to start the print after this to make sure that's all good, and then we'll release that new updated version on the File Factory, and I believe he's going to put it on GitHub. Is the latest one on GitHub yet? Does anybody know? I haven't checked this morning. Nope.
I didn't check. Can you can you show us the box?
Yeah.
Sorry.
here's the box.
Very cool.
Type screen, and then this
So
will be able
rad.
to super glue in. So you'll have this part where you have your 4 pegs on the back.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And you'll just put it on here, and either you can use nuts to screw into the plastic to hold it in, which a couple of users have already shown on Twitter, which is almost better than the plastic caps that we had to go over, because it really locks into that plastic. So once you print that and put it on the screen, then you can actually put your keypad here. And the only reason I didn't super glue this one is because I keep using it as a test model. But you're able to just super glue it in place here, so it locks it in. And then you just run it right through the back, and then you plug it all in. And then there's a separate cover that you lock in there. So it's actually really easy. Like, this is only $4 to print for all of the parts together. So it's really cheap.
That brings the whole cost of that point of sale terminal. And these are off the shelf parts as well. This isn't even like my own printed, like the components isn't like my own printed like board or anything. It's just off the shelf parts you can buy. That brings the whole cost of that project up to $12.
That's crazy. For a point of sale terminal, it's awesome. And the best part with these is you can completely customize them to whatever you want. You can change the shell colors. You can change your screen colors, because these, after you print a new one, you can just glue it in, pop it out, switch it out.
Put your own logos.
Whatever you want. Yeah, you can put logos on it. So it's pretty crazy. That's a really exciting project that I'm actually really happy to be part of. Because
a lot of people getting excited about the M5 stack sats thing, and I actually was more excited about the quickening. I was like, dude, this is it's cheaper and more sort of hacky. And I know they printed out one of your boxes and they've had it in room 77. And I want the next time when I go to room 77 for them to have one of those things as opposed to the M5.
Yeah, see, I saw that too, and I was like, oh yeah, it's room 77. We got one in there, and I want them to print off the new one once we get it finalized. And like maybe they'll customize it and put room 77 on the top above the screen and stuff like that, make it special for them. So that'll be sweet. So yeah, we're helping where we can on that project. I'm really excited. It feels good to finally give back another open source project, because that's our main goal, really. Lightning shells, we want to keep closed source just to keep income coming in, but we also want to slowly build the company where we can release a lot more open source projects, because this excites me way more when you can work with the community and keep changing and building. So.
But you will sell those boxes too, because I mean, obviously, a lot of people haven't got 3D printers.
Yeah, absolutely. So once
Oh,
we
yeah.
get the actual final design nailed in, we'll put it on the shop and allow people to customize it, just like our lightning shells and everything. But we also want to have that opportunity where they can take the design and then print it themselves.
Brilliant.
Besides that, I don't. When was the last time I've been on here? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's almost 2 months. But
we released Build-A-Node. I think I told everybody about that before on here. We also have mynode is starting to blow up a lot, the whole software package and everything. So we brought that into our Build-A-Node platform, and people are loving that, which is pretty crazy. We also have all the parts. Finally, I just got to find time to build a new lightning shell that actually has that breaker board for the hard drive. So
yes,
I know that's one of the biggest things that people are looking for is a lightning shell that has that separate hard drive board. So that'll be in the works. And then also I want to make it so you can use one of these to keep the LCD wherever I want. So I'm not just limited to right above the board itself on the Raspberry Pi. So I can really get creative and change a lot of things with that. We also hired Lami on board for CryptoCloak, so I'm not just by myself anymore. We actually have a design engineer, which is exciting because he can create a lot more products and help me design, and it frees up more time to bring more open source projects too. So I'm really excited about that. What else? I don't know. There's just so much, I guess. It's been 2 months.
Yesterday, the litho.
Oh yeah.
Come on, like that.
The lithographs are awesome. We weren't expecting that to be that big of a hit, but they are sweet. I've always wanted to do one too, and he was like, "Oh, well, I got all this software to do it, and I got printers, and let's pull the trigger on it." And I go, "Absolutely!" And they turned out awesome because all you do is stick an LED light behind it, and it's just inverse image, and it's crazy. It looks really cool. So we're excited about that one.
I ordered one. I'm super excited to get it. Are you able to show anything of it right now?
Yeah,
I don't actually have that at all. That is all with Lami.
It is? Okay.
Yes.
It's a really cool Ben. It's a really cool litho of like the Guy Fawkes mask and be your own bank and
Yeah, it's actually from the artist Lucho.
Yes, it's from Lucho Poletti.
Art that we brought into the 3D printing and 3D print a lithograph, so you just shine light through it and it actually looks like the real image.
Oh, so it has like different depths of
absolutely. Let me try to find an image. I don't want to take too much time trying to find it. Maybe when I get to the next, I'll search it and bring it back up so I can show it at the end maybe, because it's really cool. It turned out great.
Yeah, it's
other than that, yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'll Google it.
Very cool, man. Thank you very much. Here we're gonna move on to Oliver, and of course, today was the first day that I heard of your skill in baking. So I don't know if you could talk about the what that's all about.
Yeah, sure. It's been a while since I've been on the roundtable. I was just about to start the Lightning Labs the last time, and now it's been 4 months already. The bakery is finally open, which means the pull request for L&D, which allows you to bake custom macaroons, is now in the latest version. So with 0.9. It actually made it in my PR, which was at the point I think 1.5 years old. So yay! It was actually Lalu, aka Roast Beef, that wanted to rename it to Bake Macaroon. So that's why it's also called the bakery. And yeah, so I'm not really into baking, but I'm into building bakeries. So that's cool.
So I wanted to ask you. So I guess what does that for the use case? Just for people to understand, what would they, how would they use this?
Yeah. First, the macaroons themselves are our way of handling authentication. So it's a macaroon is just an access token. And the way they worked before is that you had just 3 separate macaroons. Like one is called the admin macaroon, which gives you all the power, you can do everything. You've got the read-only macaroon, which, as the name says, you can only read stuff. And then you get the special invoice macaroon, which only allows you to create invoices. And you can really customize that. But internally, we already had a huge list of actual actions you can perform. We just didn't have any way of composing them yourself. So with the Macaroon Bakery, you can go ahead and say, I want this permission and only this permission, and then give me a macaroon for this. So it allows you to do fine-grained access control to your node. So you can give someone access to just one functionality on your node, which can be useful for securing your node with like a web shop or something, or to literally give someone else access to your node and know that they can only perform this specific action. And this itself is, I think, quite useful, but it's just a foundation to build more functionality on top. So what I already did start, and I think also talked about here for a little bit, was the accounting. So you could also create a virtual account on your node, give it the balance, and then give someone a macaroon that can only spend from this account. And to be able to do this, we need this bakery in there, because it will allow more features like that in the future. That's why it's nice to have it in now, finally.
That's pretty.
Yeah, accounts, man. Like I've been begging for accounts, because you don't want to expose, like if I have an ATM, I don't expose all my funds. I want to expose just a little bit, which is going to fund the ATM. So it's going to be so useful. I mean,
I didn't have time to continue working on that for a while, but just this week I continued. And a good friend of mine at Coin Forensics, he gave me the idea that, why only spend from an account? You can also receive to an account if you just link the account to an invoice. Then if that invoice is paid, why couldn't we credit that account again? So you could really give someone access to your node, and they could send and receive fully on their own. So I continued on that a little bit, and hopefully we'll have it in a future release. I'm not sure if it will really go into LND or maybe as a separate package, because it's a lot of custom logic. Maybe I don't know if we really want this into core, but it's exciting to work on it.
So I'm sorry, just to make sure I understand. So this would be something that, like you'd somehow have to enable separately, or like it.
Yeah,
like it would just.
It's just an idea to build it as an external process that would proxy your calls, your gRPC calls to your node. So you put it in front of your node as an access proxy.
Okay.
It would filter stuff for this specific functionality. But maybe a proxy like this would be useful for other stuff. So you could have a separate port where this proxy runs, and you could only expose this to the outside world, and then give people access to this port, and you know that you have an additional layer of custom control in between. So you don't have to expose your sensitive gRPC port or something like that. That's just an idea I got while working on this. It's not sure if it will work that way, but I have doubts that the LND maintainers actually want all this accounting stuff in LND, because it's a lot of custom logic. So I just got doubt that my accounting PR would ever be merged, so that's why I'm thinking about doing it externally. But it's just an idea.
Yeah, I could definitely see that it would be maybe an isolated use case, right? For maybe more, like you said, like web shops or something like that. People requiring more security, or even just people that are, more security conscious and want to add that, that layer on top of it. So that definitely, I could see that, not everybody would, have maybe the ability or the inclination to enable that.
We can do that in RTL.
Yeah.
Sue
Why
him.
not?
All right, very cool, Oliver, man. Thank you so much. We're gonna move on to Suheb, and I know he had there was an update to RTL. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I think since we last spoke, there's been a lot of action. We came up with a completely new UX for RTL. So if you've been using RTL earlier, it was a functional but raw, experience. Now we have a much more polished experience where we have given special attention to the personas of the type of users on RTL, and then what type of experience you want to give them, and then simplify the UX, consolidate functionality, reduce the menus, and add a lot of fine items, which will actually give you a lot more information on your node than you were actually getting earlier. I can, since everybody was kind of showing the products, I can actually do a quick demo and actually show you what I'm talking about. Right?
Yeah, because we're gonna link to the video because BTC Socialist is gonna put this up on WCN.
Okay.
So that way people could actually see all the stuff that we're talking about as well.
Okay, great. All right. So let me do a quick demo. One second. Let me see if I can.
I just want to point out the new RTL is beautiful, by the way.
Thanks.
It is lovely.
Yeah, really well done, man. And I love everybody doing the dark themes because let's face it, why does the experience have to look so ugly?
Yeah, I mean, my Lnbits is very, very pale at the moment. I was thinking I might try and make it a bit more darker, a bit more hacky.
Oh yeah.
Or have the option to customize in the CSS or something. I was actually looking at Ride the Lightning. I was thinking I could just steal that.
Yeah, sure. So let me log in and show you what I'm talking about from a persona perspective also, right? So if you log in right now, right? So this is the view that we have for there are two types of personas. One is the routing node operator persona, which is much more technical, right? Get to see a lot more detailed technical information. And then there is another persona called merchant. That merchant persona is primarily, from a BTC perspective, user's perspective. So the dashboard at least will be customized for what they want to see, right? And it will not be that technical. So let me show you how to switch that. So we go to settings and change the persona to merchant and update, and then go to dashboard. So this is the persona that you get for a merchant, right? So merchant will only see the balances as one tile. See inbound liquidity. So these are channels with remote balances, right? And then outbound liquidity, the channels with local balances, right? And sorted per capacity. You see total capacity at the top, and then you see, individual channels kind of sorted in the capacity order, right? So this is the view for merchant, and then you have an ability to receive and pay, quickly on the dashboard itself. You don't have to kind of search through the menu for these basic functions, right? So this is the persona for the merchant. Routing node persona is actually much more, involved. You see, basic node information. You see the balances, Lightning versus on-chain balances. You see the routing fee that you are kind of routing through your channels. You see your channel status. You see your channel capacity, right? So here, actually, you see for each channel a channel score as well. This channel score is basically varies from 1 to 0. So a perfectly balanced channel will have a score of 1, and a completely imbalanced channel or lopsided channel will have a score of 0. So between 1 and 0, you'll see the channel balances. You'll see your overall total channels score, and then the channels which are kind of sorted out in their balancing order. And you can, if you want to sort these based on capacity, you can do that as well. So these options are available for you to kind of, if you want to customize this view. And then on most of the tiles, we have a logical, if you want to go to your routing fee page, you can go from there. You can go back to the dashboard. You can go to your on-chain, management section. You can go to the channels section as well, right? And here you can individually see your balance scores, see your local and remote balances. You see how many sats sent, sat received, and then Here, actually, channel management is actually much more involved now. So you have a lot of actions available on each channel. You can view your basic information on the channels. You can view the remote feed. This is actually a very good feature. So you can see what kind of fee policy your peer has, right? And that can give you a perspective of whether, if you're getting traffic from that peer, or if you're not getting traffic from that peer might be charging a lot of fee, right? So as far as your channel balancing and your liquidity allocation is concerned, you can take these factors into account. You can update the fee policy per channel. You can update the fee policy for all channels, right? And then you can close channels. So basically, these context-based actions are available on the UI. Same type of actions are similar type of actions. Logic is available for your peer section, right? So this is and then there is if you are running multiple nodes, there is an ability for you to switch nodes here. So you can actually this is a configuration that you do in your config file, and then you can actually switch to a different node. So right now I'm switching to a C Lightning node. So C Lightning node is slightly different UI, but more or less similar type of experience. Yeah, I'll stop here if you have questions.
Thank you for multi-node support.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, props to the multi-node. We were talking about that like on the first, I think it was the first episode of the roundtable, wasn't it? The idea of a multi-node support.
It's such an important feature.
It's sick.
Yeah.
Especially for us that run like 3 or 4 nodes, it's so nice to have one UI that you can switch back and forth.
It's built like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So multi-node support has been there for a while. We just kind of polished it a little bit. Now, then the next release candidate, we are simplifying the configuration file. So there's just one config file now, where you can either configure one node, or you can configure multiple nodes, C Lightning, LND, however nodes you are running, you can configure and run through one UI.
So on so tell us for the listeners what what different nodes does because I know that everybody can download it, right? Everybody can download it and install it, but like what version of Raspberry is this going to be included in? Is this going to be in the 1.4?
Yeah, I think that's the target. In 1.4, you will have the new UI and all
sick.
the new features.
It's so nice.
So for BTC Pay Server, is this in that one yet on the latest update?
So BTC Pay Server has the C Lightning. For C Lightning, BTC Pay Server has the latest UI. But for LND, there was an issue in our configuration, so we are fixing that now. So with the next update, you'll get the LND version as well.
Perfect.
So that's what we've been working on. And the next ones, feature will, our major release will have loop integration. That's what we're working on right now.
Yeah.
You'll have loop in and loop out in the UI.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Can you just, Suhaib, can you just explain, just for the listeners, what that functionality is, or what it would bring? Sorry.
Sure. So main objective for loop in and loop out is for loop out would be that if you're a merchant, right, how do you get inbound liquidity? Or even if you are a routing node, let's say you want inbound liquidity. So loop out is a non-custodial, option for you to gain inbound liquidity, where you don't have to pay someone to open channels, or ask someone to open channels to you, but you can kind of on your own use loop out to gain inbound liquidity. Whereas loop in is for you to let's say you have if you want to gain or top up your channels on the local side. So loop in is a feature for you to do that. So very basic terms, these are the at a very high level, these are the features. And I think loop out is actually much more critical for merchants who are setting up web shops, and they want to receive or they want to get an ability to receive transactions. So loop out gives you the flexibility without actually approaching anyone, or going to any other liquidity providers who are selling inbound capacity. You can gain inbound capacity on your own. So I think it will be very helpful for merchants who are setting up web shops to receive over Lightning.
Absolutely, that's huge, because I always feel bad saying, hey, somebody connect to our BTC Pay server node. We need more liquidity and inbound. So that's huge. And if anybody wants to, please, we'll put it in the show notes.
Like on that note, if we could add those, we do need some. So hold on a second, because I just want to. Because am I able to provide inbound liquidity to your to your BTC Pay server with my regular Lightning node, or do I have to be running BTC Pay server to do that?
No, it's just regular channel connection.
Regular channel connection, right?
That's all it is.
Cool.
You just connect to the node and open a channel. You have provided the liquidity.
Very cool. All right, guys. So if does anybody have anything else?
I want to know, is there going to be a way, I don't know, in the future, where you press a button and it kind of balances all your channels?
Yes.
Is that ever a possibility? Does anybody know? Because for me, it's a struggle right now, just finding the time to try to get my channels balanced and everything. Is there ever going to be an easy way to press a button or do a command or something where it automatically balances your channels? Do you guys know of anything that's being worked on?
I know that it won't be an LND. That was a decision I think we arrived at. But what we had in the latest release was to make it very easy using the RPC. So you can, what you've previously had to do a lot of manual stuff to find a route and whatever. So now by just using the gRPC interface, you can also find routes to yourself. So LND allows you to find circular routes back to yourself, and then to also execute this. So all that is needed is a UI or like a controlling tool that actually calls the interface. So it would be perfect for RTL to add as a feature. Because the decision was that's a lot of user preference, how they judge a channel to be balanced. So that's not some logic that we actually want to have inside LND, but of course we want to provide all the tools that are necessary, all the interfaces to allow it. So whatever tool integrates it first, there are some command line tools out there, but it obviously would be awesome to have it in RTL.
Yep. So we are planning to add that feature definitely in RTL. But channel balancing, my view is that it's not, you should actually not go for a single button click type of functionality to balance your channels, because that's a decision you should make at the channel level, right? Because sometimes your peer might be charging a lot of very high fee, and there's no point in balancing that channel because you're not really getting any traffic from that channel, right? So that's a decision you should make channel by channel, right? That's why we have given that feature of view remote fee, right? So if you are kind of running low, and you should also keep your channels balanced at the aggregate level rather than trying to balance each and every channel. So some channels might be out of balance on the other side, and some might be on the reverse side. So as long as overall you're balanced, you are fine. So don't worry about balancing each and every channel, right? Second thing is look at your remote nodes fee policy before deciding whether you want to balance channels or not, right? So once you have those decision points, then you can actually use, for instance, loop out also. Let's say you are kind of depleted on all of your outgoing side or the remote side, and you want to balance channels. So view, first of all, look at which peers are good, and you're getting a lot of traffic from them, and then use loop out, because you can do loop out specific to a channel. So you do a channel specific loop out and balance that particular channel, right? So basically, to keep the long story short, it's not a simple decision of just giving one button and balancing all channels. It's a kind of a subjective view. You should carefully figure out what channels you want to balance and what channels you can keep out of balance. There's another thing to note is that once we'll have MPP or AMP in place, and once the traffic picks up, right? You would not really need to, ideally, if you're running a routing node, there should be an ample traffic balancing, channels on both sides, or, the traffic, so that you really don't have to worry about balancing channels individually. That should be typically, in extreme cases that you really have to. Ideally, I would expect merchants to be, looking at their remote capacity to gain channel liquidity, rather than routing node operators balancing the channels really, because the traffic ideally should take care of balancing your channels, and you should pay less attention to that.
Yeah, I totally forgot about AMP coming out. Like that's going to be a huge improvement for Lightning.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I love.
Yeah, it will also allow you to loop in and out multiple channels at once. So that will really be awesome.
Yeah.
But it will take a while still.
Yeah.
I love the sweater, by the way. Love the Genesis block. Shout out to the Genesis block. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
This is from Bitcoin shirts, by the way. Yeah. It's a shilling Bitcoin shirts.
Yep. That's awesome. So there's going to be Bitcoin 2020 coming up. I'm going to be going to that. Ben, who, we just got to roast him a bit because he totally dumped on it and is now apparently going. So
yeah, it's San Francisco, man. San Francisco. It's the crazy poverty. So I was stood outside the Uber office. There was a guy just like pooing himself on the street, and I was like, dude, this isn't right. And everyone was walking past with a mochaccino, like head in the sky like this. And I was like, just help this guy, pooing himself. So I swore never to go back, but then Bitcoin, they got in contact and they want me to hook up the. Whoa, what's that? Oh, a bee just landed on me. They want me to hook up the.
There's bees in your house?
There's a bee nest in here somewhere. They want me to hook up the arcade
You're
machine,
awesome.
again. So they want me to go and do that. So I was like, okay, I suppose. And it should be fun as well. It should be fun. There's some really interesting. Tony Hawk's going. So taking my skateboard to see if I can sign it. I thought about doing like a Bitcoin graphic on my skateboard and then trying to get Tony Hawk to sign it. But no, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. There's some good people going there. And this year as well, I think they're trying to build something of a hack space as well, which is definitely lacking last year. It was me and Step and Snygrub on 2 tables, like covered in wires. But inevitably, because obviously these Bitcoiners are all dorks, aren't we? Like our little table like drew in all the like developer types. So we actually had quite a busy table going on. So it's good that they're now expanding that, and the hack area is going to be a little bit bigger. So looking forward to that.
I feel like I'm going to be spending a lot of time bothering you at your table. So
oh, you can help, man. You can help. Are we doing the workshop?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have crypto cloaks as the quickening boxes there. Brilliant.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I suppose one of the LND lot will be there, will they, Oliver?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so. When exactly is it? Yeah, I guess.
March 26th and 27th, I think, in San Francisco.
So.
27th to 28th. Yeah.
27th, 28th?
I won't be there, but some of us will make it. Yeah.
And then after that, like immediately afterwards, you have the Barcelona thing in April, don't you? Barcelona, has that been announced? Am I announcing something? The Lightning thing?
Yeah, that's Fulmo doing the Hack Day again, this time in Barcelona. I think it's been announced, yes.
You're going to go to that?
I don't know. I'll be doing a lot of travel this year, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it there, but we'll see.
It's quite unproductive, isn't it? Like traveling about and going to all these conferences, drinking so much beer, and it's a very unproductive experience.
Well, it can also be great to meet the community. So yeah, I think it's worth it. If you can make it, you should go. So.
Yeah, I bought a couple of core devs like pints of beer in the past, and I've been like, man, I feel like I'm attacking the Bitcoin protocol by buying them pints of beer, clean their brain cells.
We've seen what happens. Is anybody else going to be heading out to Bitcoin Conf 2020? Rick, Suheb?
I'll be there.
Not at the moment. Lightning in a Box is, I think.
Yeah, he's going.
That's cool.
I believe he's going, so maybe I'll get convinced to go. I don't know.
Suheb is going?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Cool.
Oh, Suheb's going. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, so I'll finally get to hang out with a bunch of you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We should do a show. We'll do a show live.
I was thinking about that. I mean, look, I carry with me all the, I have a whole bunch of equipment that I carry with me anyways. And I'll have my laptop, and I can always bring, some of my invoice terminals and stuff. And
so now you're forcing me to go so I can make the first Lightning Roundtable live. Great.
It'd be pretty. Look, it would be pretty cool.
It would be.
So, you know,
Go on, Oliver. You too. None of this sitting around being productive bollocks.
hop across the pond, you know, just to do a live show.
Well, we'll see, maybe.
No pressure. It's different, you know. Like BTC Socialist is getting invited. I totally. It'd be different, you know. I'd like to go to some of the conferences. Like I'd love to go to the Baltic Honey Badger conference or something like that, you know, or the you know, the Lightning conference that you guys have out there in Germany, which is awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot going. There's definitely a lot going on this year. A lot of conference. Every couple of weeks there seems to be a conference on. But I am very much like Oliver. I don't want to zip about as much this year because you just don't get as much done.
No, you don't.
So need to get some buildings.
Oh boy, did I just do that?
Oh yeah, you did. Okay, so people can't see it on. They're not going to be able to see it on the podcast, but like I said, we're going to be putting a link to it in the show notes. So it's it's the lithograph that is absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited.
Pretty sweet. Oh. As you can see, this is how it looks like when the light actually shines through, and it's all based on the layers you have at those certain.
Oh my god!
Heights.
How long does it take to print?
30 something hours, isn't it?
That was for the outside box. It was 27 hours for the black box on his printer, but I think the actual litho is like 7 to 12.
That's not bad.
No, it's not.
Cool if you could just replace the black box thing with like a regular off-the-shelf picture frame. You know?
See, yeah, you could probably save on that. But yeah, it turned out awesome.
I'm so excited. It's so nice. It's just so cool.
But yeah, I just want to show you guys.
Oh, that is awesome.
So
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was just wondering what's next. What's next for particularly like Oliver, because I know he's been focused on this Macaroon stuff for ages. So like it's now it's finally like getting PR'd in and it's coming out. Then the bakery. What's next for your work in L&D and
what I've also been working on was what Roast Beef announced at the Lightning conference, is Lsat, the Lightning-enabled authentication token. I think it's the abbreviation for Lightning Service Authentication Token, yeah. Which will allow an OAuth type of authentication using macaroons and proof of payment through the payment hash and preimage. So we're going to release something very soon. It will be coupled to Loop as our first service that will be using this new mechanism. So that will be interesting. And for the Macaroon stuff, nothing is really planned as a company, but I am going to do some stuff on my own in my free time, spare time on the whole Macaroons accounting, obviously, because I think there's a lot of use case there. So
free time. They give it that you've got free time.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
It would still be cool if we what we talked about to do it with the card, the tap card, but then didn't get to it yet.
Well, no, I mean, so like LNURL kind of has a lot of this functionality now as a kind of a hacky way of bringing some of this functionality to Lightning. There is LNURL auth, which FiatJaff has an example of on his site. You can log in, create an account just with a QR code, you scan it with your wallet, and then that's it. That's your authentication, and it's such a nice experience. So I look forward to Lsat on a more sort of protocol-y layer. But yeah, I've been playing with the LNURL stuff with the tap and pay. So like charging an LNURL, withdraw with a minimum amount of 1, and then maximum amount of like 200,000 satoshis or something, and then also putting a time thing on there, so you can only spend like up to 200,000 satoshis every 10 minutes or an hour or something, and then putting that as put onto an NFC card, and then you tap onto a Lightning wallet like Wallet Satoshi or Blue Wallet as well. I think do NFC, and it just works. It works well. It feels like tap and pay. There is the issue, the security issue, if you're giving someone the right to spend those funds to use that LN URL, just milk it. But you could, just like you can add a macaroon onto you could add a caveat onto a macaroon. You could also have like, I don't know, some sort of like random string which you add onto the LN URL, and then the server also has the same thing, and it generates the same string at the same time. So you could have on the card, you could have it like refresh using this thing. I don't know how it would work, and then give like a unique LN URL to the merchant. But I think, by the time I kind of get my head around that, hopefully, like you just be able to do it natively in LND with macaroons and caveats. Will I be able to do like a time limit in the bakery, and time's already in there, isn't it, as a caveat?
Yeah, it's always been in there, just not really exposed or no, not advertised. It was kind of hidden, but it was always in there. Yeah.
And you can. What about like min and max? You can do like a min and max amount type thing.
No, not yet. Well, the whole amount-based stuff is just an idea of mine, just that I've been playing around with. There's a PR, yes, but yeah, as I said before, it probably won't make it into the core itself. But yeah, I guess we'll have to reach a decision whether we actually want.
It must be hard to, when you work on like a protocol level, and then you're aware of all this functionality which is lacking, and then your first initial instinct is, I'll just incorporate it all into the base layer. But then you're like, well, hold on, actually, like maybe this should just be locked down and should have limited functionality, and then you build those layers on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It must be hard making those decisions, like the channel balancing thing, like making decisions like, okay, we're not going to do this on this layer. We're going to let people develop on top of it. And
and obviously C-Lightning has the plugins, which allows you to do exactly stuff like this. And I think eventually we want to have not the same model, but also something that allows you to build modular stuff, so you can attach things to LND. Roast beef has plans there. I don't know what time frame we're talking about, but something like a modular LND will be there in the future, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the way forward.
Yeah.
Give people like the option to extend in whatever direction they want to go in.
What you definitely don't want is to just cram all sorts of functionality into the core daemon.
No.
So yeah. Especially if you can do it outside, right? If you have an RPC interface that allows you to do all of this outside, then yeah, there's no reason to put it in there.
Yeah, and then also like that's like I'm finding with the Lnbits thing, because it's interoperable then with other funding sources, so it's quite useful to have it, have some of that functionality just on that separate layer sitting above it,
Yeah.
It does involve running a server and stuff, so it's not very,
what is also very cool, this feature that's also made in the latest version is the TLV custom records. So this new data format, the time length value, the TLV format, that you can now use to send custom data along with a payment. That will also allow a lot of custom use cases that the daemon itself doesn't need to know about, right? It just give it this record, it will be attached to the payment, and the recipient knows what to do with it. Because you can LND doesn't know what it is.
You can attach quite a lot of data, can't you? Like, what's the data limit you could attach?
No, it's not a large amount. I think it's a few hundred bytes. It's limited by the onion. But it's enough to just attach additional IDs or stuff like that.
Because there's lots of whispers of Lightning chat stuff going on, isn't there? I keep hearing people talking about,
yeah, that's what Joost was working on, WhatsApp, and also other implementations, Things Chat and there. And I think with the TLV records, that's made very easy. It's now just a question, what IDs do we use to be interoperable, right? So I think there are several projects working on this, and now we just need to converge on speaking the same language. But that's all enabled by the TLV record. So this will again just have so many more new use cases, which is very amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time for Lightning Network because like it's like anything. When you initially have something, there's a euphoria attached to it, and you overlook, all the potholes. And then as time goes on, you just become more and more aware of like bugs and things which are hard and complicated and things which used to be fixed and developed and blah blah blah. Well, that kind of honeymoon period is kind of gone with Lightning now, and I think people have started to like realize there are, this it has different thing, it has stuff it does. It can be improved. So I think it's just a because it was like you remember when Lightning Network first started going live, it felt like it was just going to take over the world and it was going to be super successful. And we're finding now that it's like it's difficult and like it's complicated and it's so cool to have you building, making it work properly. It's great.
Well, I was gonna say I think you know what, to your point, Ben, it's just the consistency of the the payments and everything like that. So it's you could see people, they find it sometimes challenging, but at the same time, it's you're building a giant payment infrastructure from the ground up, which is to a certain extent of people's own free will. You know what I mean? I mean, like, we've chosen to, go and build and discuss and, spread the word of, Bitcoin and Lightning. And it just, it doesn't happen easily. It doesn't come without its challenges and its pain. So at the same time, if anything, I think it's kind of like a testament to how strong and resilient it really is.
Yeah, no,
it's
there was
pretty
a great
cool.
talk. There's a great talk by Christian Deck at one of the hack days, and I think it was called like he kept reasserting like it's a minimal viable product. Like don't expect too much of this thing. It's not perfect. It needs to. We've just released the thing which is functional and will kind of work without losing all of your funds, all the time. And it's going to keep getting better and better. But it's just I think people overlook that, and I think that's why he was keen to say something about it to begin with. But I think people overlooked it just because they were excited about this new technology, which is amazing and a powerful technology. But that honeymoon period just kind of feels like it's over now with Lightning, and it is now. This is the point in time where people are actually refining the system and making it work properly.
Yeah, and this is where we're seeing the better user experiences and. People actually, making things much more stable. Like, even I could tell you with the Casa and the Sats app, when I first got the Sats app, I would have more failed payments, right? But as the updates have come along and everything like that, and, they've added more functionality to it and they've streamlined the user experience, so, you don't experience that as often.
That's like Casa only though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's weird. Why did they do that? It's very strange.
There's parts of it. Yeah, I find that strange also. Like, it's like if you can really easily interface with another Sats app user, but when you're dealing with your custom invoices, and again, maybe it's just because I don't use it often enough in that respect, but if you're gonna go and actually send something to somebody, they really want you to stick within their network, But you can scan an invoice and you can enter a payment code, but they obviously facilitate the user experience for.
Maybe it's so as well, or maybe it's just they're starting their arena small and then they'll branch out and make it more inclusive of other solutions.
It kind of makes me think of the Apple model.
I was gonna say it's like the Apple of nodes, or something.
Right?
It could also be like the Facebook thing. Like you have to have the Harvard email, to be able to log in, and then eventually when they get that locked down, they then start moving outwards.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's the model.
That's a good point. So does anybody else got anything? All right, guys. Well, look. It's been really great having you all on. Thank you very much for another amazing episode of the Roundtable. And I'll probably I think the next time we're going to speak is probably going to be right after the 1.4 release of the Raspberry Blitz. So RTL is going to be out there, as part of the install, and hopefully we'll have. We'll have Roots all on to, and a couple of other folks from the project to to talk about the updates from there. I did try the release candidate. So far, so good. It's running stably. That is not the node of mine that disappeared. Yeah. So, yeah, look forward to that. So, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See ya.
Hope everybody enjoyed the first LightningNode Roundtable of 2020. All of the details will be in the show notes as well. We are going to post a link to WCN's YouTube channel so that you guys can, if you want to see some of the playbacks of the screens that BTC Social has provided for Lnbits, maybe some playbacks of the screens that Suheb provided from the new RTL interface. It's all going to be there, and it's all going to be accessible on WCN. As well, if you want to contact me by email, I am coinicarus@funwithbitcoin.com. You want to catch me on Telegram or Twitter, I'm just @coinicarus. And if you want to support the show, head on over to moetarags.com, click on All Clothing, and Fun with Bitcoin podcast, and you could check out our sweet merch and support the show. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time.